All right.
Alright, we are back, yo. So, Ganesh, what do you do during your break?
Wow, I was just staring at Ming Han with full of awe.
No nonsense.
Wow.
We were waiting and talking about how long Pastor Andy is going to be in the toilet. That's what's happening.
Yeah, I guess I don't have to tell people.
Bocor lah weh. Hey,
Literally.
Yeah, bocor pun tadi.
so we're back again with Ming Han from the Ming Thing. Today's theme again is Ask Ming Anything. So if you're here tuning in to X-Teens live through Instagram, you could type it out in the comment section. Any questions you want to know about Ming, and we'll attempt to get it answered.
Yes. So we've received quite a number of questions from our viewers so far, and I think we're kind of gonna ask a few of them.
Yeah.
I think Ganesh already picked one he really wanted to ask,
Sure.
but we're not sure if the person is already tuned in or not to watch.
It's all right.
Because the person who asked it should be here to hear it.
That's right. So I think that person is taking a longer break than usual. So we know this person takes long breaks.
Yes.
Okay. So never mind that. Let me start with this question to Ming.
Sure.
How did everything started? You see, I think people like us, we grew up with mathematics and being a doctor and being a lawyer. That's career to us.
Right.
How did this whole influencer thing came up? Does it just happen when you wake up one day and I want to be famous, that kind of thing?
Wow.
I know you're not that kind of person, but
Okay.
how did it all start?
Wow. It definitely didn't wake up one day thinking I'll be famous. Because I think I'm just so used to seeing angmos on TV, right? And they're really handsome people, really beautiful people who seem to have got their life together. And I grew up watching all that. I'm like, never me, probably never. I think it just really, the best things like this really just happened by accident because I thought I'll be doing music. I actually was listening to Pastor Andy's band growing up as well. And I always never knew how to get into that because I never really had the confidence that I could sing or not, right? And because of that, I felt that I did feel like, oh, shucks, I guess this is a roadblock. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about it. Maybe I should try, finding something else to do. That was basically my reasoning lah. And because of that, I felt that okay, right now maybe I will just focus on studies first because there was no entry into the music scene. But it all happened by accident one day when I was just in college. I was, I think, in my most intense year of college, like my third year as a psychology student. At your third year, you are doing very, very heavy work, like extremely heavy work for your degree and whatnot, because you have your thesis to write, and it's not the time you should be like messing around with other things. But that's when it started because there's no such thing. You can't accidentally record a video. I wrote a small video that was about the car park that got flooded in my university, and I stitched it together very simply. And before I knew it, it blew up, and that was it. I uploaded it. I didn't think much about it. I actually uploaded it in the mama of my university in the
Wow.
Probably really early in the morning because I was going for my thesis defense, and that was it. That is how it started. I didn't get like popular right away or something, but I came back to my Facebook icons having like maxed out 99 notifications at that time. So that was an amazingly crazy sign, and I guess I kept on doing random things from there. It never really took off right away. I think it really took off like after like half a year of doing it, and I was able to record my first short film with some people who actually knew how to use the camera. I had no idea how to use the camera, so that's where it started. And it was definitely right place, right time kind of thing, but there was a lot of work involved, a lot of work involved to get all this done. So yeah, that is the story about it. Yeah.
Wow.
I think that was a long story, but hopefully that worked. Yeah.
That's a good story. Yeah, always good to know how things get started, right?
Yeah. Accident. That's the best.
Accident. Yeah.
So can we assume that having TMT, is your first job?
It is the only job that I've had. Okay. It's
Alright, yeah.
pretty much my first and forever for now. But I have done random jobs along the way. I've done McDonald's. I've worked in British India, part-timing. I've actually worked for a company as well called Leaderonomics. It's a lot of where a lot of psychology students go. But yes, TMT Core Studios is a studio that Brian, Rafi, myself, Mingyu founded, and so far it's been 8-9 years. It's been pretty cool. So far so good. It's about the same age as a church, I think, pretty much at this point. Just that we don't have Sunday tithe lah. It'd be great if we could, but it's called Patreon where we're from lah. So yeah.
Patreon, that's good.
Yeah.
Hey, what is the sentiment of your parents on this? Every parent,
Right.
Asian parents are like, hey, be a doctor, be a businessman. Well, technically you are a businessman,
Yeah.
but coming from a video industry, which they don't really have much.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you have to say about that?
Wow. So wow. I think my parents don't see. My dad suddenly call me away. See, my dad has this sixth sense. One of there. He's okay. I need to tell him that I did not just hang up on him for no reason. Hold on. I think this is like the simplest guide, because like when I was doing this, no one told me how to tell my parents I don't want to do what you want me to do, right? I don't think we were in that world. But what happened was, I told my parents, number one, I was in my last year of university, so there was a few rules I set. I need to finish my degree first, so I don't waste your money, right?
Yeah.
So I made sure, I promised my parents, no matter what, I will get my degree, and I did. Second was a bit tougher, because I needed to say that I don't want to do my master's. I want to try this first, right? So the second rule was, if this doesn't work out, I promise I will just do whatever you want me to do, okay? Which is the master's lah.
Yeah.
But third, which is the important one, was I told my parents, give me 1 year. And by the end of 1 year, if I still need to ask you for allowance, it's done. That is it. So I gave them the assurance that, number one, I'll complete my current education. Number two, I'm still on track for what they want me to do. And number three, I have a time limit on it. So I'm not going to I just pray and hope that it will work, and I will work until 40, still hoping that it will work, and I will live in your basement or like your bottom room or guest room or something. But with that, I gave my parents a very solid plan that I knew. I acted like I knew what I want, but to be honest, I didn't. I just gave 1 year because I thought there was enough time, right? I gave my parents at least some security to know that I'm not wasting my education if anything goes wrong, and I still have their interest in mind.
Right.
So far that year hasn't ended lah. Thank God. It's been it's been 8 years since that year, and so far so good. That's how I broke the news to my parents. Yeah.
Wow, very very clear plan, very clear communication. Yeah.
That's the nicer version of it.
Right. Of course. Of course. Hey, I think next Maxine is here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we can dedicate the next question to her.
Yeah.
Right.
So this person called Maxine wants to know
Right.
if she can get a raise.
So a context,
I think-
right? Maxine works for you, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So technically, she shouldn't be tuning in.
asking work-related questions. To be honest, raises in this economy is very hard, but we've been really trying our best with our team. Maxine is really one of the best workers we have. She's one of the best teammates. She's amazing at what she does. I wish I could answer you right now, but it'll be very unethical as a businessman. You cannot make empty promises. See, I'm going back to my rule. I don't want to say what I don't want. Right?
Yeah, that's good.
But definitely these are things where she's performing very well, and it does not go unnoticed. I think as long as the economy goes back into a good state and we are in a stable place, it is definitely not off the table, because good job, Maxine. Everything she does, for me, it's more like, if you can cook the dish until like 90%, I only need to check like 10% or 5% of it, that's a job well done. And Maxine brings all the way to like 95% most of the time. So she's really good at what she does.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well done.
We can affirm that, because outside of work she also serves in the church. and she's part of this ministry as well. And she gives her heart. She gives her heart, her kidney, her lungs, everything she gives lah.
Sounds about right.
Even if it's a 1 minute video, you can have both my lungs kind of a thing. So we really affirm that. I think you're right. You're not just saying nice things because you are on chat now and everyone's watching, but I think you're telling the truth, and we can testify that.
Yes,
so it's
great.
Wow.
Yeah, right. So don't worry, guys.
Yeah.
If anyone has watched my live streams, I don't hold back if I need to say something awful on chat on live stream as well. That's called living with integrity. You say, just have one story, guys. It makes life so much easier to track.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh my god.
So just want to lead one of the questions that was asked earlier. Knowing that Maxine works for you, there's another question here that asks, how do I sign up as a talent for TMT?
Talents, I think these are the most asked questions. Like, people don't want to work; they just want to act as a talent, right? You, my friends, have unfortunately asked for the hardest pass in TMT because we are very strict with this. The easiest way is to if I have to ask you, do you know what to send in to be a talent? That should be your first sign of whether you can sign up to be a talent. I mean, you need, number one, to have this thing called a portfolio for anyone who's interested in acting, right? Or if you're interested in singing, I mean, you have to go through an audition and you have to show like what you've done before. A lot of people don't want to turn up and be surprised whether you can sing or not, right? Or surprised if you want to act. So it's almost like bringing in a resume. Actors have a thing called I think they have a thing called their portfolio or their showreel. So you compile any of your past work. It doesn't matter if you're acting in church and someone recorded it. It doesn't matter if you acted in school and someone recorded it. Of course, the more recent, the better. But yeah, you need that first. And secondly, you can't just send it in with you can. We'll just put you in our index. But you need to wait for a casting call. That's like the simplest, right? Because if there's no casting call, there's no way we can use you properly. But if there is a casting call, there's definitely more purpose to look for new faces. So yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. That's basically Kanesh secretly asking his secret desire lah. Kanesh, now you know what to do. Kanesh, you know what is a portfolio or not?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's not a disease, The disease is called polio. This is portfolio, okay?
Yeah. No one should submit any polio. That's a bit crazy.
Okay. So Kanesh, you got your question answered. Yeah.
All right. Wow. Thanks.
Hey, welcome.
Pastor, you got any questions?
Oh, no. Because Ming was talking about core studios and all that. And I basically, it's basically a business. It's a business. You have to run a business. It's not all just entertainment and show, right? It's actually business. There's a real side to it. There's a real serious side to it.
Absolutely.
Quite a number of viewers want to know, like for example, someone is asking, what advice would you give to someone who wants to start their own business?
Don't
start. Yeah. Very good advice.
I think if you ask anyone who runs their own business, don't. It's not that we are trying to be discouraging. Is maybe a nicer way to put it is, be absolutely sure you can be responsible for yourself, your livelihood, and for someone else's livelihood. Because running a business is not fun. Doing your passion, that's fun. Doing your passion as a freelancer, that's absolutely fun. Setting up a business though, the amount of paperwork that you need to do, I thank God for Brian, and now we have a HR person. The amount of accounts that you need to continually submit, doing your taxes, planning your finance, seeing if your business can expand. These aren't skills that people are born with unless you're a prodigy. You need to be very, very business savvy if you want to start a business, I feel. Because it's a life of its own. It's like having a kid. If it turns out bad, it will kill you, literally. If it turns out great, you never know where it will go. And any business is in absolute mercies to the surroundings of how a country is doing, and and immediately you will realize that you are no longer just a creative or whatever you're passionate in. You are a businessman, and you immediately have two different you immediately have two different things to consider to grow. You have two separate people of yourself. Like I have Ming the creative to grow, and I have Ming the businessman to grow. And that's why people who own their own business don't sleep, because you're living two lives in the same 24 hours. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. And now that I'm a dad, I have to live 3 lives. So it's I have a ratio of 8 hours for each personal life. So,
Wow. I like how you mentioned you have one life here, another life here, and you, at the end you said 3. But I also come to know that you are also a Christian. I don't know if
I really hope so. Yes.
I don't know if I should say Christian is your 4th life, or it's intertwined with everything.
right.
But
it's
as a question,
theme. Yeah.
general theme. It's a question here on
Sure.
how did you find your identity, or rather it says here specifically your creative identity in Christ.
Wow.
No, it was purpose and calling in your life. Also, maybe following up through this question,
Right.
how do you relate being a Christian and the business that you are doing in, which is
Right.
being a public figure and etc. etc. Do you have anything to say about that?
Wow.
Yeah.
I think hold on, let me just pull up a white screen on one of my monitor, because I realized that really made everything brighter, so everyone can see a bit better. If you realize that suddenly like light is changing on each side, I'm just trying to like brighten things up. Like, let's see. There we go. See?
Okay.
I think this is a very interesting question, which I think I've shared a couple of times as well. I used to grow up listening to this band called Switchfoot, right? They're an amazing band. The best part about them was they debuted on mainstream radio. They went like top 40 in the world. They had amazing albums which are all mainstream. But the twist was that the whole band is Christian, 100% Christian. Like, cannot get more Christian. Both the brothers in the band had a father who's a pastor or something like that as well, an elder. And that kind of reminded me of like Mingyu and myself and my dad. But I will never forget one of the best interviews that he did. And he said that when he was asked, as a Christian, what do you think about Christian music? Do you write Christian music? Are your songs Christian music? And John Foreman basically just said that I think Jesus died for me. He didn't die for my songs. So my songs aren't Christian. I am, right? My songs are the story that I want to tell you guys, or my personal story and my personal sharings, right? And I thought that, wow, that's a really good way to put it. Like, I never found my creative identity in Christ. I feel that kind of like makes it separate, like your personal identity and your creative identity. I think there should be an overarching Ming that is like controlling all these different parts of your life, right? And I think personally, that's why I feel you have to have a good personal walk with God first, which is so important, compared to like, okay, you know what, I'm going to have a creative Christian walk with God. Doesn't really work. It's weird. It gets really weird, because like you can be a really like big self-proclaimed Christian artist, right? But your personal life is in absolute crap, right? I mean, like, don't even talk about Christians. Some of the most motivational personalities out there have a horrible relationship with their family. Like the outside of your house most of the time isn't the same as what the inside of your house is, right? So I don't think you should ever find your creative identity in Christ. I think you should just find your identity in Christ, because it's like, when you're connected to the vine, whatever branches that grow out, you are the vine and you are the vine and you are the branches. Yeah. Whatever you grow out from that will be in line with Christ. As long as you're connected to the vine, because I don't think God needs you to be like, okay, you segregate your life like this, right? He said, like, if I come into your house, all the doors are open, right? So yeah, I think it was more important to know where I was in my personal walk, because when anything fails in the creative industry, it's my personal walk that anchors me. It's my personal walk that keeps me connected. And if it's anything to indirectly answer that question, it is the connection to the ultimate creator that helps me become a great creator. Because we have all the major blueprints with God. He shares how he sees the world. He shares how I should see the world. And that's how I get my stories, right? And when we have this infinite, vast amount of knowledge and creativity on our side, I mean, that's basically all we need, I guess. Yeah, I hope that answers the identity question. I mean, should I keep on going for the second part of the question? Or I can't even remember if you ask, because I'm following the the structure, right? Yeah. So
No,
that
it's
is
good.
about identity. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess from
Mm.
what we are understanding is that yeah, there's just finding your identity and finding it
Yes.
in Christ, and that should be the core, right? That should be what
Yes.
everything flows out from. So
Yes.
is there any, like, what I'm trying to ask is there any spelled out value or principle
Mm.
that guides your work? Like, is there, I don't know, are there things you said I will never do
Oh, very
because,
easy.
and
I'll
yeah,
never make something I don't want my parents to see.
cool, yeah,
Simple. You don't need to get so spiritual about it. You don't need to say like, oh, my heavenly father don't let me do this. No. You think about your earthly father who might give you an ass whooping, like if you actually did something.
yeah,
That's basically the guideline. And now when I have a kid, it's amplified because everything online never dies. And one day I know I will need to answer to Haley about, Dad, why are you eating mashed potatoes like that? Why do you make a video about eating mashed potatoes 20 different ways?
I remember that one.
Those are my guidelines. That one day I will have to be accountable to a mini version of myself asking myself that questions, or immediately I'm accountable to my family asking, why are you making that video?
yeah.
That is, I think that is to me the guiding principles. We don't even need to get spiritual about it. I mean,
Yeah,
um, I think that is my personal values about creating work. That as simple as that. Yeah.
I think that's so good. That doesn't just apply to just like your industry per se. It just applies to life.
Mm.
Never do something that you can't answer to the next generation, or
Yeah,
even,
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah. So that's
absolutely.
good. That's so good.
I
Yeah,
mean, you have a kid now too, right? I mean, like,
yeah, man.
immediately you got to think about, okay, did I say anything stupid? When I was
Exactly,
younger,
exactly,
did I put anything into my songs that I didn't want I wouldn't want my kid to hear, right?
exactly.
Yeah. So like the real accountability suddenly gets very real, right?
Yes,
You got to
yes.
step up the QC. So yeah,
So
yeah,
true,
that's
so
it.
true.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Hey, Ming. You've
Sure.
been around in this industry for at least 8 to 9 years, and
Mm,
everyone who watch you, especially our viewers right now, they
right.
they know you for the Ming thing. They know you as the person that they see through the video, the fun guy, the funny guy, the guy with good contents,
Sure.
and etc. etc. Right? I know you as that person. All right.
Okay. Okay.
But how about things behind the scene? Like, do you face struggles like personally? How do you manage? Is there a form of expectation that you need to manage from your public?
Mm, mm.
Maybe share a little bit from there. Like, what do you go through behind the scene? Do you fight? With your brother? Your
Right.
brother
Right.
being your
Oh, every day.
your co.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
No, lah,
things.
not every day. That's horrible, lah. Definitely. I think it will be insane to say that my life is scot free and there's no struggle. That would be lying 100%. It's either you're lying or there's something very wrong with you. Because I study psychology, right? To say that your life is void of problems, it's probably there are problems, but you're so deluded that you have no idea what those problems are. Um,
Yeah.
Definitely the struggles. I mean, the fact that I stopped making videos for three years, almost 2 to 3 years, was the biggest creative struggle of my life, because I just woke up one day, um, and I realized that I didn't like any of the things that I wrote anymore. That was it. I stopped immediately. But because I didn't try to push it, I didn't try to. I mean, coming back to the value earlier, right? I won't talk about anything that I don't want to do, or I won't do anything that I don't want to talk about. I just kept to it, and because I think this is where I'm very thankful for my parents setting my foundations of my values right, and I'm thankful that I had church and everything, because the foundations of my life which I've built, which is don't talk about what you're not going to do, don't do what you're not going to talk about. Um, I never was so public with all these kind of things. So when I I did need time to be quiet, I didn't need to explain it to anyone, right? So that was like immediately a very big relief when it came to struggles, because I think a lot of creators get screwed over when like, hey, where the video? Where got new video? But my audience was just like, it's okay, take your time. We know that if something comes out, it'll be good. You've never been consistent anyway, Ming Han. I'm like, oh, thanks. But But it's like that lah. I think I'm glad that I set up the foundation so that if anything wrong was to happen, that it will be a softened blow to anything else. And I guess that's pretty much how I deal with struggles. There are struggles, like I think growing up struggles. Like my brother and I are much older and in different places in life. Ever since like I moved out the house, we have grown into very different people, and our interests definitely have taken different turns. So like these are growing pains. I think everyone does experience. Just that when you're in the spotlight, there's a higher pressure on things to be like, it should be a certain way, right? Shouldn't it be like this? Shouldn't it be like that? And the easiest way to say like, do suffer these struggles in silence, on your own, not online. Because when you're doing it on your own, you have your family to help you, and you don't have to publicize it. A lot of my friends, I think it's the insecurities that make you want to post things online to get validation from people. Like, it's okay, you're not alone. It's okay like this. That kind of thing. Sure, I might be fine sharing that I fell down one day and my knees hurt, but I'm never going to share like things like there's like a very serious fight between one of my friends and myself, because that does no one any good, right? The audience will be like, it's okay, we're all here for you. That's validation that you don't need. But struggles are real, personal struggles. I don't think anyone is void of it. If my wife and I have a disagreement, it's never going to be online. If Mingyu and I have a fight, it's never going to be online. I can't give anyone the solutions for dealing with struggles, but other than saying that, have a great circle of support, family, friends, people who can be real to you is very important. People who can tell you off is very important. Because we live in a world where validation and toxic positivity is very real. Like, you just want to surround yourself with people who like say things you want to hear, right? Don't do that. Have people who can smack you, literally. That's very important for struggles. It sounds very counterproductive, because when you're struggling, the last thing you need is a smack. But actually, no, the first thing you need is a smack, because that's where you get waken up to your senses again. But yeah, I hope that answered it. Like, I don't have a solution for people struggling with problems, but yes, I do struggle with a lot of things, more than you know. So yeah, definitely.
Wow. There's some deep stuff there. Really good.
Yeah, that's how I know I'm getting old. I'm so sorry, it's also deep.
Yeah. No. I think our audience are really being blessed by what you just shared. Kanish, I'm just looking at all the questions here. I don't think we can ask all of them. Yeah. And is there something that jumps up at you now?
Well, the latest question is, what are the views on the LGBTQ community as an influencer?
So
that's
a
Yes.
Wow. I never had the chance to talk about this a lot. But I think my view is very simple. Just love her. That's it. If Jesus can hang out with tax collectors and prostitutes and eat lunch with them, and not judge, Jesus never said anything about even judging the prostitutes. And I'm very sure there were transvestites. I'm very sure there were homosexuals back in the day as well. There's no evidence that there was not. And it's not like, LGBT is a very new thing, right? There have been like historical evidence where it's gone back to the Roman Empire, to even like Genghis Khan and the Mongolians. I think it's very simple that I can live by, because in my industry, there's even more of people who are all in the whole spectrum of LGBTQ. Personally, I'm not in that community, so I don't try to speak as if I understand them, number one. But number two, the simple thing is just love. They are still people. That is something that they've chosen for themselves. We are called to love and not to judge. So that's pretty much my simple answer to it, because God never gave any degree in the Bible to say anything other than love your neighbor as yourself. It never said love your LGBTQ neighbor less than yourself, right? It just said love your neighbor as yourself. And some of my most amazing friends are like gay or along the spectrum. They are actually more responsible friends than some of my straight friends. One of the best things that I've heard about from a person was from one of my gay friends in Singapore. He said, like, whatever you want to be, just be a responsible one. And like that speaks tons about like what people are. Like, your sexual orientation is your choice. As Christians, yes, we do have our stance on it, whether or not There is like support from the church that they're all like the church is obliged to do certain things, but as a Christian, your only obligation is to love. That is it. You love no matter what, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm very real with my friends. I say that, you know, I might not understand a few things, but please explain it to me, because if I cannot understand them, then there is no need to, you know, have any doubt or misunderstanding. Then but that's pretty much it. Yeah.
All right. Wow. Thanks for sharing your view. Whoever asked that, I hope you're blessed.
Yeah.
I think it's time, right? It's already 6, and there are some other questions coming up, but again, we can't answer everything. Hopefully, you will get peace in having known that your questions are not answered. But let's end with this. So Ming, what is the end goal for you? What is that point where you say, okay, it's you know, I've achieved it. It's success. Or do you already think you've already achieved it? So what's the end goal that for yourself and for your business, for the Ming thing, etc.?
I think I'm living out the end goal. The end goal was pretty simple. I never wanted to like go into this making movies or stuff like that, right? I think a lot of people like who start doing YouTube and then like, oh wow, look, I can make YouTube videos. I might be a movie director one day. I never had that. I was a very aimless, clueless boy before this. I really had no goals in my life. I really just wanted to live the next day better than the last day. That is it, right? But one thing that I have no regrets about is giving younger creatives the chance to do it as a job. I've never had that when I was young. And when we formed the studio, we really just, okay guys, you come in, learn. There's no expectation of you. We'll give you all the tools you need, all the space you need for internship of 3 months, right? And from this 3 months, you build your foundations, you understand what the working culture is like, and basically we provide a positive, constructive environment for people. That's not like an end goal, but that has been like the most fulfilling thing to do as a job, because if you know how the production world works, it's very cutthroat. It's not cutthroat. It's hierarchical. It's very harsh. So it turns a lot of new people away, and it builds a lot of creatives up a very cynical way. So yeah, I'm very glad that we can do that. My end goal is just take care of the people that care like I care about, who matter to me, who I love, and who love me. And I think ultimately to reach the pearly gates in heaven, not having Jesus ask me like, Ming Han, why do you make that video? I think that's the end goal. It's like, that is definitely the goal. Like, I'm sorry, Jesus. Like maybe I don't want to apologize for anything. You know, hopefully I don't have to apologize for much. So yeah, I'm living the goal every day. The end goal is make it through the next day, not make it through the next day being a better version of yourself. Sounds very like cute quote of the day thing, right? But it's a very real goal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. Thank you so much, Ming Han.
No worries.
I think time is up, and we really appreciate you coming on to ATCHAT to chat with us and to share so many nuggets. Gold nuggets, and we're really have been blessed by this. We hope we can get to see each other again.
Yes.
Hopefully in person this time.
Whenever I can travel to Subang again, who knows?
You say like you're coming from Perlis like that way.
Yeah. I need to renew my passport when I go to SS15. It's a
bit You need a passport just for parking, man.
But I've been there because that's where I met my wife. Okay, so ex-church, shout out. My mom was right. You go to church and find your wife. I never believed her. I wish I believed her soon. So that is the absolute truth.
Yes, right. That's right. So young people, listen to your mom.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, please. Save you. It will save you like 9 years of pain, minimum 6 years of pain. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. So, Kanesh, anything you want to say before we log off?
Nah, that's all from me.
All right. So that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, thanks for tuning in. Remember to log in to Xsin's chat one more time next week. Find out what's happening. And other than that, signing off.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in.
All right.